Hello, Uncle Jim here. Today I want to share with you how I've been able to earn a bunch of passive income through selling options and earning premium, as well as getting dividends from the companies that I do own. This has been able to fast track me to financial independence and has actually set me up very nicely for retirement. So stay tuned. I think what I share with you today is going to be really important. Thanks for joining me. Okay, now before I jump into my key points, I do want to mention something quickly. I've been on a journey for, I believe next month it'll be 2 years to learn the correct way to sell options. And in that time period, I've made mistakes, and my goal is to share with others so they don't make the mistakes I made and that they learn that they can sell options and do quite well with it. It's a great way to bring in extra income, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. Um, and then also, if you try any of these trades that I do share with you, be sure to do your own due diligence. There's always risk involved. So I do encourage you, what you learned from me, dig a little deeper and be sure it works for you too. So that being said, let's jump into the key points. Now, weekly trading review. This is new to my videos, and I like to talk about the trades that I've run this week. So which is interesting this week because we had some really good up days. It's been all covered calls so far. Um, so I did three trades earlier in the week and they were all covered calls. Last week I did all puts. They were all cash secured puts or vertical put credit spreads, but they were all puts. So who knows? Maybe next week will be all puts too. But I did these three trades. I did SDY, which is an ETF, and I did a covered call on it. It is a 6 month covered call, and I earned $374 on it. And, and that's at a strike price of 131. I believe right now it's like 121, 122, maybe even below 120. And it's only gotten up to 133 in the last couple of years. So if it got up to 131, be doing quite well. My guess is it won't ever reach 131. The next one is Cisco. This was assigned to me, I believe back in June. It was a put that I had sold and it did get assigned to me. And I plan to get it assigned to me because I really like Cisco. Now I've gone ahead and I've written some covered calls and they are just above the price that they were assigned at or assigned to me, and I earned $211 in premium. Now this is about 6 months out, a little less than 6 months, but I'm okay with going that far out, especially with this crazy market we're having. I think hopefully by the fall we'll be coming out of it. Next is what is that? Warner Brothers WBD. It was because I owned AT&T. I got 100 shares of WBD, and right now I'm thinking about selling them, but they've gone down pretty drastically. And this is the first time I've been able to sell a covered call. I believe WBD is around 14 currently, and I was able to sell a covered call at 18 and pick up $125. So those three trades, which took me no time at all, probably less than an hour, I earned $710. I'm thinking I'm going to have another trade today, which will be Micron, that I'll probably earn another $150. So this week, my goal each week is to earn around $600. And the last 2 weeks, and it looks like this week is the same situation, I'm earning in the 700s and close to 3,000 on a monthly basis. And that's what my goal has been for a while, and it's worked out quite well for me. Now, I do want to mention what I'm thinking is going to happen with the market. And again, this is my opinion. You can take it with a grain of salt because it's probably what it's worth. But I do think we haven't hit the bottom. I think tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next week could be a rough week, especially if I think the Fed's going to do a 3/4 point, but it could do a full point. But once they do increase the rates, I do think it's going to hit the market pretty hard. And then we also are getting some earnings that have been a little bit more rough. So I do think we're going to get another 5, maybe 10% down from this point. And I do think sometime mid to late fall we are going to come out of the bear market. Doesn't mean we're not going to be in a recession, but a bear market and a recession don't always come at the same time. Typically, a bear market will come before a recession. At least that's my understanding. But I've been doing this a long time. I lived through of course, 2020, 2008, 2000. I think there was something in the 90s too where it was a big drop. So I've been through this. The worst thing you could do is to sell your stocks or sell your investments when they're low. If anything, it's a great time to buy. I'm finding a lot of really good value out there with dividends. An example is Cisco. It pays almost 3.5%, which is unheard of for a technology company. But I've been able to find a lot of good dividend paying companies out there. Next, I wanted to mention that I believe there's a lot of fear out there, and that's also a reason why I do think we're coming somewhat close to the bottom of the market. Once everyone turns real negative on investing and people start pulling out, and I've seen some of that happening, that I believe we may be fairly close to a bottom. And also, I find myself, and I don't know about other people, but I find that I do overthink things, which can be good and it can be bad. I did pull back some of my trading in June because of some of the positions got pretty deep in the money. Now, with the recent up days over the last week, actually most of July has been up, I believe. A lot of those positions are doing much better now. So I encourage people, don't overthink things. Keep things simple. Be sure to mitigate your risk. I like to do what I call a 20 delta for covered calls. So that's like an 80% probability that the stock price will never reach the strike price. And then for puts, I do a little bit lower. I'm doing more like 10 to 15%. So if I sell more puts, I'd like to have an 85 to 90% probability that they'll never reach that strike price. Or if it's something I really want to own, you know, I may take a little bit more risk and run the wheel on it. But again, it all depends, and you just never know where it's going to go down. Some of the stocks I thought would go down to 40 or 50. To give you an example, say the stock was $60 and it went down to 50. Well, I'm finding it'll go down to 40. So you just never know when the bottom is. So I like to take a little bit of risk, but definitely during this bear market, I'm taking less risk. So this next part of this, I do want to share with you, how dividends can make a big difference and how they can, paired with options premium, you can really almost live off it. I've been able to, with just those two, just to give you an example in July, and I'll talk more about this in the next part of this video. I've been able to bring in probably pretty close to 3,000 for July. When all is said and done, it'll be pretty close to 3,000. And with the dividends, I brought in another 2,000. I believe it's 2,200, and that's been really good. So almost 5,000. I only need between 4,500 and 5,000 to live each month, and that doesn't even include if you're doing something along the lines of the 4% rule. You could take I could take another $1,000 and probably wouldn't impact my accounts very much at all. Actually, I'm living off these accounts. I'm going to share with you actually my Schwab account next, and I'm going to show you what it looks like to see the income. And I live off of my brokerage accounts. I do still work. I'm a software developer. I do have some income coming from that, but a majority of my income is coming from my brokerage accounts. So that being said, as always, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Take a look at my Patreon memberships. I'll have a listing down below. You might be interested in seeing my trades as I make them. I share all my trades with my patrons. I also have some special content in there, and I also do a monthly meeting, so you can find all that information down below. So I encourage you to take a look. It might be something well worth your while. So that being said, let's jump into the next part of this video. Okay, I've opened up my Schwab account. This is something I wanted to share. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail, but it's something that's pretty neat that Schwab adds. This is all my accounts added together, and you can actually look at different amounts of time. You can see my account right now is 796. It's down 28,000 since, I guess, for a year. If I do 6 months, or year to date, it's down 64,000, which is 7%. So for the year, I'm down about 7%, which isn't bad. And like I said before, I live off this account, and it's nice to be able to see the total value of all your accounts. So this includes my two brokerages, my Roth IRA, my rollover IRA, and my SEP account. Now, this piece, a lot of people have probably seen, and you can see more detail if you go below, based on your positions and your account balances and stuff. But the piece that I find really interesting here is if we go down, it says show investment income. Now, you can click on that, and it'll show you literally all your investment income by month. It's showing me here that, so on average, I'm earning 1364 a month, 16,372 of dividends. This is strictly income. So, and most of it's dividends. I do have a little bit of interest, but again, most of it's dividends. Now, if I look at the next 12 months, you can see I'm earning about 1,500 per month, and then or a total of 18,742. Now, what I do find interesting is if I come over here and I look at just July, it'll show me where I stand just for July. So here you can see it's currently 2,096, which I've already received, and I'm going to receive another 108. So you're talking 2,200 just in dividends for July. So July is one of the higher months for dividends, but when you pair that with the income that I'm earning from selling options, and let's actually jump over to, oops, bear with me here. So this is my planning worksheet that I release to my Patreon group every week. Here you can see what my weekly goal is, and if we scroll over, you can see here I've already earned 23.55 in premiums just for this month. And for this week, if I scroll down, here's the three covered calls. Now, I did do another trade. I actually rolled Micron out to out to October and picked up another $138. I did widen the spread for Micron, but I do believe it's going to bounce back. Right now, the original strikes were 69.57. I rolled it out and widened the strikes from 70 to 70.50. So a little bit more required in cash and margin, 1,500 per contract. But I'm okay with doing that. It's unusual. Typically, I always try to roll down when it comes to puts, but that's the only put I've actually rolled this week, and it expired. It expires tomorrow, so I went ahead and rolled it today because the market was down a bit today. So and these are the three covered calls. That's SDY that I mentioned earlier. That's the Cisco, and then this is WBD. And so for the week so far, I've made 842. So I would not be surprised if I can again make another 700 next week and be over 3,000. So between the 3,000 and what was it, 2,200? Yeah, 2,200. You're talking over $5,000 in just cash, dividends and premium from selling options. So it works out really well. And I do like this feature down below. I'm not going to show it because I don't want to show everyone in the world all my account numbers. But down below, it actually breaks it down by each and every account. So you could see I do have a lot of cash sitting there right now. So my goal at the end of the year is this number. I want to get it up to more like 7, well, not 1,600. I'm pretty sure I can do 1,600. I'd like to get it up to 1,800 a month on average, and maybe even 2,000. And I believe I can do that because I do have close to 100,000 in cash sitting idle right now, in the hope of buying some more stocks and ETFs that are paying really good dividends. But this is something that's really nice. Schwab has done a nice job. I can compare it to 2021. Um, so next 12 months, it's pretty comparable. Now, part of the reason it's lower is when I started selling options, I did close some positions or sell some positions to have more cash that I could sell, especially sell puts. So that's why I originally was 1541, and it did drop a little bit. Um, but again, for the next 12 months, it's going to be up, and my hope is for it. Hopefully in 2023, I'll be more like 1800 to 2000. So Schwab does a really nice job with this. All their different tools, all their different things you can work with, it makes it really nice. So sometimes you can get lost in here and spend hours. So I just wanted to share that piece and the fact that between dividends and between selling options, you can make a lot of really good money. And I, like I said before, I only spend a couple of hours every week selling options. Having these weekly planning worksheets has worked out well. I don't even measure things monthly anymore. I primarily look at everything weekly. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, please add a comment below. I try to answer every comment. So, and I check every day. It may sit for an hour before I can get to the comment, but I try to answer them all. So, thanks for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.